Please come in. Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sis.
Please sit.
Thank you, ma'am.
What do you learn from the game of football?
Ma'am, football, the foremost thing about football, it's a teamwork. So it is not based on individual prowess. So the first thing that I learned was how to manage a team and how do we play as a part of the team, as a part of whole machinery. The second thing that I learned was I was fortunate enough to become the captain of the football team and develop myself as a leader.
And what are the good qualities of a good leader?
And the foremost thing is the communication. I think you need to communicate well with your players so that they understand and they understand their role and responsibilities. At the same time, they understand the whole structure from the bigger point of view.
And about Bollywood songs, okay? Give me one song which has inspired you and one song which you feel is really objectionable and should not be playing around.
One song that really inspires me is Kar Har Maidan Fateh. I usually listen to it before my exams, just before going into the examination hall. That really actually pumps me up. And
is it a Bollywood song? From
yes,
which movie?
Yes, ma'am. It's from the movie Sanju.
Kar
Har Maidan Fateh.
Okay. And the song which you don't want to be publicly played?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I cannot.
You cannot recollect. Okay, fine. Now, Haryana, there is a lot of, talk about Haryana. Within Haryana, a lot of people have suddenly got a lot of money, right? And the term which is used for idle crorepati. Why suddenly there is so much of money among some section of people in Haryana?
I think it is mostly because of the development prospects that have that have recently been there. Mostly because of the outgrowth of Delhi and the rising prices of the land, and people have mostly been able to capitalize on those and became rich by selling those plots to big corporate houses, especially in areas of Gurgaon, Faridabad. Okay.
Can you list any 3 laws which have been introduced for women to enhance their status in India?
The first thing, the first law that comes to my mind is the bar on the marriageable age that is like 18 years as of now, and 21 years for the boys and 18 years for the girls, to stop child marriages. The second law that comes...
No. In the recent past, I didn't get you to what you said.
I meant was it was legislation that derived from the Sarda Act, in which the marriageable age of women
was long time back. I'm talking about the recent ones. There was a change in this marriageable age also.
Yes, ma'am. There have been talks, and there has been formed a committee regarding increasing the age and having the same age for boys and girls, but that is I think under process.
Yes, under process.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Why is it essential to have both the girls and men to have both the same age for marriage?
Ma'am, if we have a legal age of 18 and 21, then there comes a perspective that the females need to be smaller in age compared to men when they marry. So that thought process has developed in India, and it is being continued. So I think to come for gender neutral laws, I think we need to have the same age.
How would it help the women? How would it help the girl?
Ma'am, I think that girls, after attaining a certain level of maturity, if they marry after attaining that maturity, then they would be able to take better decisions in marriage, and that would lead to lesser problems thereafter.
Also, she would get more time to build up her career or be able to educate herself better. That's also one reason.
Definitely,
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, the second law?
I'm not able to recollect the exact law, but it is regarding the amount of leave that you can get while in pregnancy.
Maternity Benefit Act. Yeah. The period has been extended.
Yes.
From which period to which period?
It has been extended from 12 weeks to 26 weeks.
Why?
Ma'am, this has been done to give the woman more liberty and freedom in terms of taking care of her health as well as the child that will be born.
Also very important is that that's the time required for a child to be fed. That is, breastfeeding. It's the best period of that time, and child requires that mother's milk. So therefore, that's the time which is required and prescribed by the doctors.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Suppose in case somebody asks you about your opinion on work from home, how would you describe it? Work from home.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't know.
Work from home.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because of the lockdown, most of the people are now working from home. Suppose if somebody asks you your experiences, your understanding of work from home, how would you do?
Ma'am, it has both positive and negative connotations to it. It has on the positive side, it has actually helped families reconnect. Like people have gone back to their homes and are staying with their parents, and it has actually developed a social connect that was improved the social capital. And on the negative front, it has actually so for the woman, if I talk about, it has actually increased the number of hours that she is working. For example, she has to take care of the home as well as if she is working, then that is like double burden on her. And if we talk about with respect to children, they have not been able to go to school. So the mother has to take care of the child as well throughout the whole day. And the child has also not been able to get the social interactions that actually are needed to get a whole education level.
Okay. For an individual, what is the most important thing? Income, prestige, or power?
I think as per my humble understanding, with income comes some amount of prestige as well as power. So I think income would be...
What is the most important thing for you?
Ma'am, I think income.
Income. Thank you.
The Kurks of southern India, and there is a village in UP, Rampurba. These two places were studied by some scholars of some sociologists. What kind of studies they made?
Sir, I am not able to understand the question. Can you please repeat?
Kurks of southern India,
Okay.
and the Rampurba village in UP.
Okay.
Some sociologists had made the study to prove his theory.
Can I take a guess?
Yes.
Sir, I think it is related to the relation with the use of arms.
What about the dominant caste studied by M.N. Srinivas?
Sir, I am not able to...
Dominant caste studied by M.N. Srinivas.
Sir, I'm sorry, I don't know about it.
You have studied, your optional is?
Chemistry.
In the context of current affairs,
Yes, sir.
Recently some bills passed in the parliament.
Yes, sir.
Can you name some of them?
Sir, amid the parliament stall that has happened due to the opposition protesting with respect to Pegasus issue and the farm bills, there have been a number of bills that have been passed by the government. One of the bills is Essential Defense Services Bill, in which there has been a restriction with respect to the strike that can be performed by these the defense services which are categorized as essential. The second bill is regarding the Commission for the Air Quality Control in the NCR region, and I think there is a bill regarding the food processing industry as well.
Okay. Recently, you can see in the monsoon session, only few hours was utilized in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So how we will improve the efficiency of the House working?
So the number of working hours of the Parliament has been regularly being reduced from the independence till today, and there have been a lot of reasons for that. The government and the opposition need to work out a way in which the cordial session should be should be done. For example, they clear-cut coordination in their strategies. For example, the opposition only wants to talk about one subject and the government does not want to talk about that subject. So they should work through back channel talks. They should talk and set the agenda for the day.
There are meetings organized by the Lok Sabha Speaker or the Rajya Sabha Speaker to sort out the differences. But actually it's not working. So how much politics is involved? That is affecting the entire nation.
Yes, sir.
This is what the decision making had failed at all the urgent issues even.
Yes.
Anyway, so working on that ground, the parliamentary form of government, that the Westminster system that we have taken, why don't we switch over to presidential form? Because lots of ministers are not of the house elected. They take the latter membership. So of course we have moved ahead on that system. What do you say? In preference to India, we should go to the presidential form?
So there have been advantages and disadvantages with both the systems. We have our own reasons of choosing the Westminster form of government, because we preferred stability over efficiency. So we need to have that stable government because we have a very diverse nation and we need to cater to a lot of the demands of these diverse sections. So we have chosen this. It is a more hybrid and a more extended version of the actual Westminster form, in which we have we can have the Prime Minister from the Rajya Sabha as well. But
how much impact it would make on the cooperative federalism? Suppose we move to the presidential form, then.
Sir, I think presidential form is a more one-man army kind of a system, in which there is lot less, because that person only selects the ministers, and this, like in the US there's Secretary of State, and,
yes,
and every other minister is chosen by the president. So there are less room for there's less room for more ideas and more views on it. So I think we are on the right thing. We just need to make a few tweaks, but Prime Minister form of government has worked for India, and yes.
It is observed that in Asia normally democratic government had functioned less compared to wherever we have the autocratic form. You take any example in Asia, third world countries itself. So how much this democratic sentiment since day one had helped India, or how much it had created a detrimental steps in the forward moving approach?
Sir, yes, and I think India has been a democracy since the independence, and there has been very less disruptions, and it stands out as a model for other third world countries to look up to. It has its democracy has its own set of problems. For example, because there are a lot of diverse views and issues, so we need to cater to a lot of different sections, and this whole makes the whole process very slow. So I think the growth can be said that the growth is slow, but on the positive side, it is stable.
Stable.
Yes. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You have done your engineering from IIT Mandi.
Yes, sir.
Just yesterday, in the Rajya Sabha, Ministry of Education has provided a vital stat. It has said that into the premier institutions, particularly the IITs, the dropout rates are increasing, and majority of the dropouts, they are from the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, particularly the reserved categories. And if we talk about the IIT such as IIT Guwahati, 88% of dropouts are from the reserved categories, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes.
Yes, sir.
Why their dropout rate is so much high?
Sir, in my humble understanding, I think that there is reservation in terms of getting into the institute, but after getting to the institute, everybody is at the same footing. So these people actually face a certain level of pressure in terms of competing with other students. We can have some programs in the IITs.
So you meant to say that the people coming from reserved categories, they are not able to withstand the competition?
Sir, there is certain level of pressure, added pressure. Because of their past records of because we are not able to provide the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe with the right quality of education from the very starting, so they actually tend to get a little behind. in terms of their education levels, and that actually creates a pressure in the actual institutes.
Okay. So has been there any steps taken by the institution or by the government to reduce this incidence?
So there have been steps in for example, in the scheduled tribe areas, there have been Eklavya schools, and we have had provisions in the Right to Education Act as well. But I think more needs to be done at that front, so that we can actually help these students from the very starting and improve their quality of education.
If we talk about the poverty in India, it is a very big problem. Has government come out with any report onto the poverty in India into the recent times?
I'm aware about the Rangarajan committee report that came in 2013, I think.
Okay, but now we are in 2021. Okay, and Rangarajan committee, it defined the poverty line, or it talked about the levels of poverty in India, what it was?
Sir, it defined the poverty line, and it came up with what would be the
with
poverty.
Respect to the number of poor in India, is there any report, is there any attempts by the government to quantify that what is the amount of, what is the level of problem?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware about it.
Okay. Mohit, now the 1 year of the new education policy has been completed. Yes. And the Prime Minister has started up some initiatives under the new education policy just a couple of days back. Can you tell us some of the initiatives that have been taken?
There was efforts from the Andhra Pradesh government that I read. They have been transforming the institutes based on the 5 criteria that have been in the that have been defined in the new education policy. And I think
what are these 5 criteria?
So there have been 5 from the pre-nursery to the 12th standard. The classes have been divided into 5 levels, and so from the age of 3 to 8, and from the age of 8 to 12. So that is how it is divided into some criteria. And Andhra Pradesh government has recently tried to set up their schools in accordance with the new education policy criteria.
As per NEP, when this particular basically, as we talk about the 10+2 level which is being replaced, when this system will come, even the new curriculum has also to be provided to them, but the national curriculum framework has not been finalized. So how they are going into that format?
Yes, sir.
What they will teach there? Has the national curriculum framework which was envisaged into the NEP, has it been prepared?
Sir, I am not sure about this.
Okay. And any initiative taken by the Prime Minister?
Sir, it was for I think numeracy and literacy. For the initial 5 years, the program has been started by the Prime Minister.
What is your take? Recently, many of the states, they have started to provide the engineering courses into the regional languages as envisaged under the NEP. Do you believe that the engineering and the scientific courses into the native languages or into the mother tongue is feasible, or it should be provided?
Yes, so there were initial talks regarding providing science subjects in regional and Hindi languages, but in my humble opinion, the prospects after the prospects of these the scientific courses after their graduation would be very limited because of the knowledge and because of the international cooperation that is happening. So that would, I think, reduce.
Okay, so you are trying to say the employability will not be there if a student has studied engineering into the language which is not English.
Employability in terms of Indian companies might increase, and it all depends on the opportunities. For example, in terms of computer science, if we have to say, then there are many multinational companies that are coming to India and hiring people, and they have to closely coordinate with their foreign counterparts. So if we are told to study computer science in your regional languages, so that would actually become a barrier in terms of foreign cooperation and in terms of getting jobs into foreign MNCs.
But if we see the countries such as China, if we talk about the Germany, most of the master's courses, they are being provided into the German. In China, they are following the Mandarin. In Japan also, into the Japanese, they are providing the degrees, the master courses. But there we don't find that such kind of employability problems are there. And if, in fact, according to a report by the NASSCOM, the youth in India, they are facing much more the problem of employability. Why such a kind of thing exists?
Sir, I think because these companies already have a strong network of industries that actually prefer people coming from these, graduating in their regional languages. For example, Germany has its own automobile industry, China has its own companies in terms of manufacturing, Japan has its electronics industry set up. So I think if we also have these kind of industries and they are looking for people doing engineering in their own regional languages, then we can go for it. But provided we have to build the demand side of it.
Okay, Mohit, my last question. Your hobby is to listen to the Bollywood songs.
Yes, sir.
Many a times the Bollywood songs, they have sexist references. They objectify the women. What do you have to say to this?
Sir, there have been instances in the recent past that have increased the amount of violence and vulgarity and the drug abuse in use of songs, especially there have been impacts from they have taken it mostly from international forums. They have been inspired from those areas, but and I think one of the other problem is the lack of regulation on the OTT content. Not only the songs.
To OTT, we are talking about the Bollywood song specifically. You are a little bit digressing.
Okay, sir. If we talk about just the songs, then I think more regulation needs to be done by the Center Board of Film Certification.
But then it will be said that it is a curb onto the creative freedom, artistic freedom is being taken away.
So there has to be a balance between the creative freedom and the amount of vulgarity, keeping in mind the social aspects of our society in mind. So we need to balance those, and I think CBFC has to step in and do the needful.
Many a times we see that outrightly curse words are not being used. The references are being given such a way that it gives a kind of a wrong message. The women are being particularly objectified. So how that particular thing will be dealt? Do you think that just the censoring is an answer into this? Or just a kind of a external regulation by the CBFC is answer to this?
So I think the short term things can be regarding censoring and these things, but the long term thing can be made improvement in the implementation of laws. I think there is an IPC section regarding the objectification of women, and at the same time more awareness in the schools and the next generation that is coming up should need to be done. So that is the long term measure.
Thank you, Mohit.
What is electrochemistry?
So electrochemistry is a field of chemistry that deals with the movement of electrons through an aqueous medium and generation of electricity.
What is cathode?
Cathode is the positive electrode in a whole setup where there is cathode and anode separated by an aqueous medium.
Tell me about some electrochemical technologies which can make our transport eco-friendly.
Electroplating of zinc is one of the technologies in which is used to prevent the rusting of many parts that are made of iron. And I think alloys, there are a lot of alloys that we have. And
what is hydrogen fuel cell?
So hydrogen fuel cell is a kind of electricity generating device in which hydrogen is used as a fuel, and we have water as the sole output with
only hydrogen.
Hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen is taken from the air.
So what are the challenges with hydrogen fuel cell technology? Recently, Government of India issued guidelines for safety related issues in use of hydrogen fuel cell in agricultural sector. So
Yes.
What challenges?
So one of the important challenges is the production of hydrogen and the storage of hydrogen. So hydrogen is not easily available in terms of like pure hydrogen in the atmosphere. So we need to extract it from the water by so we have to get it from water, and the storage is also a problem in terms of how do you carry it in terms of the container that will have hydrogen.
How do we carry CNG?
In terms of cylinders.
Tell me some major challenge, like logistics facilities are there for gaseous fuels.
Yes, sir.
And as far as hydrogen production, that is the potential in India. You know what are the sources of hydrogen production in India?
So mostly from electrolytic catalysis of water.
No, it comes from natural gas, CH4.
Okay, sir.
So the industries where CH4, the natural gas, is used as raw material, hydrogen is one of the byproduct.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's one of the potential. That's why India is playing on this technology. Okay. You are from Palwal, it's in Haryana. Tell me, what is desertification?
So desertification is increasingly reducing the soil fertility, in which the amount of production gets
It's about
increased.
soil fertility?
Sir, I think there are three. It's also related to soil carbon as well as.
What
the
is
fertility.
desert?
So desert is an area where the amount of rainfall is less than 10 centimeter in a whole annual year. It
This
can
is
be a
one
whole
aspect
desert.
of desert. This is one aspect. Desert is a system, ecosystem. Okay, and it is assessed on the basis of its biotic diversity, biological productivity, water availability. Correct? So when I say desertification, that means change in not only availability of water but also ecological productivity, change in biodiversity. It's ecosystem level change, multi-dimensional change.
Okay,
I asked you because the Haryana region that is
Yes, sir.
facing the threat of desertification. What is carbon leakage? Carbon leakage was recently in news when the European Green Deal was signed. You know, Green Deal in European Union.
Yes, yes.
So carbon leakage term was used in that deal. What is carbon leakage?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't know.
One of your hobbies, Bollywood songs. Honorable members have already asked some questions. The old Bollywood songs, they are kind of evergreen songs.
Yes, sir.
What about new songs? Why they kind of fizzle out within few months or few days?
I think the new songs, there are more number of new songs that come actually every week, because previous songs, they were actually there was a time period. We did not used to have many number of films coming out like now and then, and there was a time period in which was given to a song to sink in and actually resonate with the person. But since now we have a lot of new songs coming in, and the whole playlist changes in about a month or two. So
Who is your favorite singer?
Sir, Arijit Singh, sir.
So Arjit Singh, despite of so many songs coming nowadays, it's a kind of song production factory. Still, Arjit Singh songs, they a bit match with the Kishore Kumar songs.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is one of the reasons, but they are more socially kind of integrated. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir.